Hello, welcome to the Vast Voice, the podcast that features things all essential to entrepreneurs. My name is Kenner French. I'm with VastSolutionsGroup.com. We're going to be talking about something very specific to entrepreneurs to help reduce risk and also potentially lower taxes. Two things I think are very important to some entrepreneurs, if not every entrepreneur. 831Bs or captives, what are they? Well, they're very specifically suited to business owners who want to lower their risk and also have a lot of very specific elements that can lower taxes. With consistent year-over-year growth of mainly data breaches, it's becoming more important for successful businesses to develop a comprehensive entrepreneurial risk management system that really provides the capital and tools needed to mitigate the enormous costs of such a breach. An effective ERM program, sometimes they're called, or again, enterprise risk management system, can mitigate your data breach risk, address gaps in cyber insurance policies, and create a rainy day fund of tax advantage dollars to use in the event of such a breach. An effective ERM program should be considered at all levels of business. If you're a Fortune 500, to middle market, family-owned business, any of those small to mid-sized businesses are targeted, and maybe 62% to be specific. 62% of all cyber attacks. Many small to mid-sized companies can't afford the securities required to effectively prevent data breaches and encrypt data, and making them, therefore prime targets for these types of attacks. The ability to mitigate these risks is imperative to the survival of even the most successful companies. The average cost to clean up after a breach for a middle market company typically costs approximately $1 million. The total costs of a breach are not limited to money expense, but also intangible assets of a company may suffer from diminishing of its brand and customer goodwill, losing customers, etc. The total cost of a breach results in about 60% of companies going out of business within 6 months of such a breach, and growing to 72% within 2 years. So that kind of underscores the importance here. Traditional insurance companies have begun finally to address these risks, but many of the policies available to purchase come with exclusions and specific sublimits to protect the insurance company's exposure. It's important for a business owner to know what the policy excludes and the limits of liability that it therefore has. A standard policy excludes unencrypted data accessed through a breach, but less than 4% of data breaches involve encrypted data. Some limits may also exist for consumer notification costs, regulatory investigations, business interruption, audit, etc. Now, to address risks like those stemming from data breaches, we are captive formation consultants are generally of the opinion that owning a small property and casualty company will soon become the normal business practice. By utilizing what's called the 831B tax code, business owners can efficiently create a tax advantage rainy day fund for themselves to mitigate risks such as data breach. Fortune 500 companies have been using 831B, that section of the tax code, for many, many years as a primarily to thank for pioneering the concept as a result. The tax code provides a tax incentive to own a small property and casualty insurance company. In order, by the way, to file under 831B code, the premium is limited to the first $2.3 million ceded to the insurance company and is non-taxable with it's got an adjusting inflation rider. Now, until recently, utilizing the 831B tax code was very costly, but the lower barriers to entry and competition driving costs down. Small to mid-market companies, ma and pa's, can even have captives now, or again 831B. Now, the original, since I mentioned that, the 831B code, it was broad, but after 30 years of existence, a lot of the consultants in the world have set the business to properly utilize the 831B tax code, which is important. For simplicity, let's just say, let's describe the parameters as a 4-part test. There must be a transfer of risk from the producing company to the insurance company. Risk must be distributed, and you cannot own 100% of the risk. The risk must be fortuitous in nature, not an ordinary business risk. And finally, the company must act accordingly with business principles as far as insurance. Now, we, as an insurance administrator, our primary role is to ensure that clients comply with the 4-part test. All consultants are of that opinion, and if they're not, run the other way if they're getting and providing consulting that's anything contrary to that. All business owners have to take an active role in their risk management. There's just no doubt about it. The world's moving faster and faster now. By owning an insurance company, owners, entrepreneurs, not only manage risk more effectively, but also they create long-term planning opportunities. Consultants can work with any number of advisors to help put together 831Bs. If you Google 831B or captive administrator, captive formation companies, etc., to obtain more information. We do captives. We've been doing it for quite a while. We've helped a lot of clients reduce their risk and also enabling them to lower taxes. If you have any questions, just go to our website. We have enough information about captives on our website at www.vastsolutionsgroup.com, or give us a call, 888-808-8278. And any of us will be loving it if we can help you to lower your risk. But now what I would say is these aren't for the faint of heart. There's a lot of specifics. It's complex. That's the reason you employ a consultant or someone who understands the ins and outs of captives and, again, 831Bs. Once again, Kenna French signing off. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast to help entrepreneurs lower their risk and help with their taxes.